Hello, story lovers. Tonight, we're diving into a tale of passion, secrets, and choices that could change everything. Hearts will be broken, love will be tested, and every twist will leave you on the edge of your seat. Comment below where you're watching from. And if this story moves you, hit like, subscribe. Share it with someone who loves a powerful love story. And tap the bell so you never miss the next thrilling chapter. Ready? Let's begin. The autumn rain hammered against the restaurant windows as Sophia Chen gripped her worn leather purse, watching couples laugh over expensive wine. She shouldn't have come. The hostess had looked at her modest navy dress with barely concealed pity, and the prices on the menu made her stomach twist. She turned to find him standing there, tall and composed in a charcoal suit that probably cost more than her monthly rent. Gabriel Harrison. Dark eyes that seemed to catalog everything, silver threading through his temples. Handsome in a way that made her want to run. That's me, she forced a smile. You must be the tech genius everyone keeps talking about. And you're the teacher who makes kids actually want to come to school. He sat across from her, and something flickered in his expression. Pain, maybe. Or recognition. My sister talks about you like you're some kind of saint. I'm not. The words came out sharper than intended. Saints don't spend Friday nights grading papers while drinking cheap wine and questioning their life choices. His laugh was unexpected, genuine. Successful CEOs don't spend Saturday nights at blind dates. Arranged by worried sisters? The waiter appeared, and Gabriel ordered without looking at prices. Sophia's throat tightened. This was a mistake. She didn't belong in his world of effortless wealth and confidence. You look uncomfortable, Gabriel said, after the waiter left. I am. She met his gaze directly. This restaurant costs more than I make in a week. We're from different universes. Maybe that's exactly why we should be here. Something in his voice made her pause. Underneath the polish, she heard something raw. Something broken? Why did you agree to this? She asked. Gabriel's jaw tightened. He looked out the window at the rain-slicked streets, and when he spoke, his voice was barely above a whisper. Because for 2 years, I've been living in a glass tower surrounded by people who want something from me. Money, connections, status. He turned back to her. Rachel said, you probably don't even know who I am. That you see people, not portfolios. I don't know you at all. Exactly. His smile was sad. Tell me something real, Sophia. Something that matters to you. She thought of her third graders. Of Emma's gap-toothed smile when she finally mastered long division. Of Marcus bringing her dandelions from the playground like they were roses. I have a student named Jamie, she said quietly. His parents are going through a divorce. Last week, he asked me if it was his fault. If he'd been better at math, would his dad have stayed? Gabriel's expression cracked open. What did you tell him? That some broken things aren't meant to be fixed. That sometimes love means letting go. She paused. Then I held him while he cried. Silence stretched between them, heavy with unspoken understanding. My father left when I was 8, Gabriel said suddenly. Walked out during Christmas dinner. My mother spent years pretending it didn't destroy her. His hands tightened around his water glass. I built an empire to prove I was worth staying for. Turns out, you can't buy your way out of abandonment. Sophia felt something shift in her chest. This wasn't a blind date anymore. This was 2 wounded people recognizing each other's scars. Why are you telling me this? She whispered. Gabriel reached across the table. Didn't touch her, but his hand rested inches from hers. Because you're the first person in 2 years who's looked at me like I'm human. The restaurant noise faded. The rain, the other diners, everything narrowed to the space between them. I shouldn't be here, Sophia said, but she didn't move. Neither should I. Gabriel's voice was rough. But I don't want to leave. Their food arrived, but neither of them noticed. They talked through dinner, through dessert, through the restaurant closing around them. About childhood wounds and adult failures. About teaching children to dream and building empires that felt hollow. About loneliness in crowded rooms and hope in small moments. When the waiter finally, apologetically asked them to leave, they stood on the rain-soaked sidewalk. The city glittered around them, indifferent to the moment unfolding. "I want to see you again," Gabriel said. "This won't work." But even as Sophia said it, she knew she was lying. "You're a millionaire. I'm a teacher who splits cheap takeout for dinner, and teach me how to live like that." His intensity pinned her in place. "Teach me how to feel something real again. You don't know what you're asking, don't I?" He stepped closer. Close enough that she could smell his cologne, feel the heat of him. "I've spent 5 years building walls. You walked in tonight and saw through every single one." Sophia's breath caught. This was dangerous. This was a man who could consume her entire world and not even notice. "One more date," she heard herself say. "That's all I'm promising." Gabriel's smile transformed his face, made him look younger, less haunted. "One more date," he agreed. He called a car for her. As she rode home through the gleaming streets, Sophia's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Thank you for seeing me tonight." "For seeing the real me, Gabriel." She stared at the message, her heart hammering against her ribs. Then another text arrived. This one from Lily. "How did it go?" Sophia's fingers hovered over her phone. How could she explain that she'd just met someone who understood the shape of her loneliness? That she'd felt more alive in 3 hours than she had in 3 years? Instead, she typed, "I think I just made a terrible mistake." No. But as the car turned onto her street in Brooklyn, past the bodega where she bought her morning coffee and the park where her students played, Sophia couldn't shake the memory of Gabriel's eyes. The way he'd looked at her like she was the answer to a question he'd been asking for years. Her phone buzzed again. "Gabriel, tomorrow night. Let me take you somewhere that matters to you. Show me your world." Sophia closed her eyes. Every rational part of her brain screamed warning. Class differences. Incompatible lifestyles. The inevitable heartbreak when he realized she couldn't fit into his polished existence. But her fingers betrayed her. The Brooklyn Bridge. 7 o'clock. "Dress warm?" His response came immediately. "I'll be there." As Sophia climbed the stairs to her tiny apartment, she wondered if she'd just opened a door that could never be closed again. Gabriel arrived at the Brooklyn Bridge wearing jeans and a wool coat, looking more human than Millionaire. Sophia watched him from a distance, noting how he checked his phone nervously, how his breath formed clouds in the October air. For a moment, she considered turning back, protecting them both from whatever this was becoming. Then he saw her, and his entire face changed. "You came," he said, as if he doubted she would. "I almost didn't." Sophia fell into step beside him as they started across the bridge. The city sprawled beneath them, a river of light and shadow. "I spent all day convincing myself this is insane. Did it work? I'm here, aren't I?" They walked in silence for a while, the bridge humming beneath their feet. Other couples passed them, tourists taking photos, joggers focused on their pace. Normal people living normal lives. "Tell me something," Gabriel said finally. "Why teaching? With your intelligence, you could have done anything." Sophia's laugh was bitter. "You mean something that pays more than poverty wages? That's not what I meant, isn't it?" She stopped walking, facing him. "Let's not pretend, Gabriel. You live in a world where people like me are invisible. We're the ones who serve your coffee and teach your executives' children. We don't exist in your reality." His jaw tightened. "You're right. And I hate that you're right." Step closer. "But you exist in mine now. You're all I've thought about for 24 hours. The honesty in his voice made her chest ache. "My mother was a teacher," Sophia said quietly. "She died when I was 16. Cancer. She spent her last months worrying about her students, about whether anyone would remember to help Tommy with his reading struggles, or if Sarah would be okay without her encouragement. She looked out at the water. She taught me that some things matter more than money, that touching a child's life is worth more than any fortune." Sounds remarkable. She was everything. Sophia's voice cracked. "And she died with nothing. No savings. No security. Just a classroom full of kids who loved her and bills that buried my father." Gabriel reached for her hand. She should have pulled away. Instead, she let his warmth seep into her cold fingers. "Is that why you're afraid?" he asked. Because I have money and she didn't. I'm afraid because this feels like a fantasy. In 2 weeks, you'll remember who you are. You'll go back to your penthouse and your charity galas and your perfect life. And I'll still be in my rent-controlled apartment, grading papers and buying dialed bread. What if I don't want that life anymore? Everyone wants that life, Gabriel. Don't lie to yourself. His grip on her hand tightened. 3 months ago, I stood on the roof of my building and looked down. 42 floors. I wondered if anyone would actually miss me or just miss what I could do for them. His voice was raw. Then I stepped back. But the feeling didn't go away. The emptiness. Sophia's breath caught. Gabriel, until last night. He pulled her closer. For 3 hours, I forgot about being alone. I forgot about the walls I built. You looked at me like I mattered. Not my bank account. Not my connections. Me, you're romanticizing this, am I? His eyes searched hers. Tell me you didn't feel it too. Tell me I'm alone in this. She couldn't. God help her. She couldn't lie. This will end badly, she whispered. Probably. His thumb traced circles on her palm. But right now, standing here with you, I feel alive for the first time in years. Don't take that away from me yet. The bridge lights flickered on as darkness fell. Around them, the city transformed into something magical, something possible. 1 month, Sophia heard herself say. Give me 1 month. If this is real, if this is more than some fantasy, we'll know by then. 1 month, Gabriel agreed. But we do this honestly, no hiding. No pretending to be someone we're not. Deal. They sealed it with a kiss that tasted like rain and possibility and terrible decisions. When they finally pulled apart, Sophia was trembling. I need to tell you something, she said, about why my last relationship ended. Gabriel waited, patient. His name was David. He was a teacher, too. We were together for 3 years. She forced herself to continue. He wanted me to give up teaching. Said we'd never have a real life on 2 teacher salaries. He took a job in finance, started making real money, started looking at me like I was holding him back. What happened? I came home early one day. Found him with someone from his office. Someone polished and ambitious in everything I wasn't. Gay. The old wound still ached. He said I was too small for his life, that I'd never be enough. Gabriel's expression darkened. He was an idiot, or he was honest. Sophia pulled her hand away. That's what terrifies me about you. Because eventually, you'll see it too. I'm a 3rd-grade teacher who lives paycheck to paycheck. I can't be who you need. You don't know what I need. Don't I? I've seen men like you before, Gabriel. Good men who think they want something real. Until real becomes inconvenient. He caught her face in his hands, gentle but insistent. I'm not him. I'm not David. How do I know that? You don't? His honesty was brutal. But I'm asking you to take a chance anyway. 1 month? Let me prove I'm different. Sophia wanted to say no. Wanted to protect herself from the inevitable heartbreak. But looking into his eyes, seeing her own loneliness reflected back, she couldn't walk away. Okay, she whispered. 1 month. They spent the rest of the evening walking through Brooklyn. Gabriel insisted on trying her favorite hole-in-the-wall taco place, laughing when sauce dripped down his expensive coat. They shared stories about their childhoods, about dreams abandoned and hopes still flickering. At midnight, standing outside her building, Gabriel kissed her again. Slower this time, deeper, like he was memorizing the taste of her. Tomorrow, he said, dinner at my place. I'll cook. You cook. Badly, but I want to try. His smile was boyish. 7 o'clock? I'll send a car. I can take the subway, Sophia. He touched her cheek. Let me do this, please. She nodded, unable to speak past the lump in her throat. As she climbed the stairs to her apartment, Sophia's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number made her blood run cold. Saw you with Gabriel Harrison tonight. Interesting choice. Does he know about your brother? About what really happened. You should tell him before someone else does. A friend Sophia's hand shook as she read the message again. And again, her brother. The secret she'd buried for 5 years. The reason she'd changed her last name and moved across the country? Someone knew, and they were threatening to tell Gabriel. She looked back down at the street, but Gabriel's car was already gone. Above her, the city lights blurred through sudden tears. The past she'd run from had just found her, and the man she was falling for was about to learn the truth that would destroy everything. Sophia stood outside Gabriel's penthouse building, her finger hovering over the buzzer. She'd barely slept, the threatening text message replaying in her mind. She should cancel, should disappear before the truth came out and destroyed him too. But running hadn't worked 5 years ago. It wouldn't work now. The elevator ride to the 42nd floor felt like ascending to judgment. When Gabriel opened the door, flour dusting his shirt and a sheepish smile on his face, her heart cracked a little more. "I'm failing at cooking," he admitted, pulling her inside. "But I'm committed to the attempt." The penthouse was stunning. Floor-tisseling windows, overlooking Manhattan. Minimalist furniture that probably cost more than her yearly salary. But what struck her was how empty it felt. Like a showroom, not a home. "This is where you live?" she asked. "This is where I exist." Gabriel caught her tone. There's a difference. The kitchen was chaos. He'd attempted some kind of pasta dish that now resembled abstract art. Sophia couldn't help laughing, despite everything. "Let me help before you burn the building down." They cooked together. Or rather, she cooked while he watched, fascinated. The domesticity of it felt dangerously intimate. Gabriel chopping vegetables under her instruction, their hands brushing as they reached for the same spoon. The way he looked at her like she was solving mysteries of the universe instead of making simple marinara sauce. "Tell me about your family," Gabriel said as they finally sat down to eat. Sophia's fork froze halfway to her mouth. This was it. The moment where everything would unravel? "What do you want to know?" "Anything. Everything." He poured wine. "You know about my absent father and my sister? But you've barely mentioned yours. My mother's dead." "I told you that." She bought time by taking a sip of wine that probably cost more than her weekly grocery budget. "My father remarried. Moved to Arizona. We don't talk much. And siblings?" Her throat tightened. "I had a brother, and he died 5 years ago." The lie tasted like ash. "Car accident." Gabriel reached across the table, covering her hand with his. "I'm sorry." Should stop there. Should let the lie protect them both. But the weight of it was crushing her. "Gabriel," her voice cracked. "There's something I need to tell you." Before she could continue, his phone rang. He glanced at it, frowning. "It's my business partner, Marcus." "I need to take this." He squeezed her hand. "Hold that thought." 2 minutes. He disappeared onto the balcony, and Sophia was left alone in his pristine kitchen. Her phone buzzed, another text from the unknown number. "Time's running out. Tell him tonight or I will. He deserves to know who you really are." Her hands shook so badly, she nearly dropped the phone. Who was doing this? Who from her past had found her? Gabriel returned, his expression troubled. "I'm sorry. There's a problem with the Beijing deal. I need to fly out tomorrow for 3 days." "Tomorrow?" "I know. Terrible timing." He pulled her close. "Come with me, Gabriel. I can't just leave. I have students. Responsibilities, right?" "Of course." He looked disappointed, but understanding. 3 days. That's all. When I get back, we'll spend the whole weekend together." She should have been relieved by the reprieve. Instead, she felt the walls closing in. "Before you go," she forced herself to say, "that thing I needed to tell you. Can it wait?" He kissed her forehead. "I really need to start packing, and I want to focus on you properly when we talk." Part of her screamed to insist, to confess everything right now. But the coward in her won. It can wait. He spent the next hour tangled together on his couch, talking and kissing and pretending the world couldn't touch them. When his car arrived to take her home, Gabriel held her like he was memorizing the feel of her. 3 days, he whispered against her hair. "Think you can survive without me?" "I'll try." She kissed him one more time. "Be safe." The drive back to Brooklyn felt endless. Sophia stared at her phone, at the threatening messages, at the life she'd built on, lies about to collapse. When she finally reached her apartment, someone was waiting in the hallway. A man in his 30s, expensive suit, cold eyes. She recognized him immediately and her blood turned to ice. "Hello, Sophia." Marcus Chen smiled, but there was no warmth in it. Or should I say Sophia Liu? "It's been a long time, little sister." Her brother, very much alive, and standing in front of her like a ghost made flesh. "You're supposed to be dead," she whispered. "Convenient story you told everyone, wasn't it?" He stepped closer. 5 years of hiding. 5 years of pretending I don't exist. Did you really think you could escape what happened? I did what I had to do. You ran. Like a coward. His voice was acid. "Well, I spent 2 years in prison for your mistake." Sophia's keys fell from her shaking hands. "That's not fair. You know what happened? I know you let everyone believe I was the monster." Marcus's jaw tightened. "I took the fall for you, protected you, and you repaid me by disappearing and letting Mom die thinking her son was a criminal. She knew the truth, did she? Because she died calling for you, and you weren't there." He picked up her keys, handed them to her. "Now you're dating Gabriel Harrison, my business partner. Small world, isn't it?" The ground tilted beneath her feet. "You're his business partner? For 3 years now. Funny, he's never mentioned having a girlfriend before. Then tonight, he tells me he's falling for a teacher named Sophia Chen." Oh. Marcus's smile was cruel. "Imagine my surprise." "Don't do this, Marcus." "Don't do what?" "Tell him the truth. That his perfect, innocent teacher sent her own brother to prison. That you destroyed our family to save yourself. That's not what happened." Sophia's voice broke. "You know, it wasn't like that." "Then how was it, Sophia? Explain it to me again." "Because I've had 5 years to think about it in my cell." She couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. Please, don't tell Gabriel. Not like this." "Why? You don't think he deserves to know who you really are?" Marcus leaned against the wall. "See, here's what's going to happen. Tomorrow, while Gabriel is in Beijing, you and I are going to have a long conversation. You're going to fix what you broke. And if you don't, I'll make sure Gabriel learns every ugly truth about his new girlfriend. What do you want?" "Justice." His eyes were hard. "You owe me 5 years of my life, Sophia. Time to start paying that debt." He walked away, leaving her trembling in the hallway. Sophia managed to unlock her door and stumble inside before her legs gave out. Her phone buzzed. A text from Gabriel. "Landing in Beijing. Missing you already? Can't wait to come home to you." She stared at the message through blurring tears. The man she was falling for was business partners with her brother. The brother she'd told everyone was dead. The brother who'd gone to prison because of her. And in 3 days, when Gabriel returned, her entire world would explode. Unless she found a way to stop it. Or unless she did. The one thing she'd been too afraid to do for 5 years, tell the complete truth and accept whatever came after. Her phone rang. Marcus's number. "Tomorrow," he said when she answered. 10 a.m. The coffee shop where this all started 5 years ago. Don't be late. And Sophia, come ready to confess everything. Because Gabriel's going to find out either way. The only question is whether you have the courage to tell him yourself." The line went dead. Sophia looked around her small apartment. At the life she'd carefully constructed from the ashes of her old one. At the photographs of her students. At the books and the simple furniture. And the person she'd convinced herself she could be. All of it built on a lie. And tomorrow, that lie would finally catch up to her. The coffee shop looked exactly the same. 5 years and nothing had changed except Sophia. She sat at a corner table, hands wrapped around a cup she couldn't drink. Watching Marcus enter like he owned the place, he'd aged. Prison did that to people. Harder eyes. Sharper edges. The brother she'd known, the one who'd protected her through childhood, was gone. "You came," he said, sitting across from her. "Did I have a choice?" "We always have choices, Sophia." "You made yours 5 years ago?" He ordered black coffee when the waitress appeared. "Now it's time to face the consequences." "What do you want from me?" Marcus leaned back, studying her. You really don't remember? The night that changed everything? Of course I remember. Her voice dropped to a whisper. I remember all of it. Then tell me the truth. The real truth, not the version you told the police. His eyes burned into hers. Why did you let me take the fall? The memory flooded back. 5 years ago. A different coffee shop in San Francisco. Sophia, then 23, working late on lesson plans. Marcus arriving, panicked, covered in blood. I need help, he'd said. Something terrible happened. Start from the beginning, Sophia said now, her voice hollow. You want the truth? Fine, but you have to hear all of it. I'm listening. That night, you came to me covered in blood. You said you'd been in a fight with your business partner. That he was dead. That it was an accident. She forced herself to meet his eyes. You begged me to help you hide what happened. You called the police instead. Called 911 because you were injured and in shock. I never thought they'd arrest you. Tears burned her eyes. But when they did, when they found the evidence, you told me to lie. You said to tell everyone you'd confess to me? That you were guilty to protect you. From what? Her voice rose. I wasn't even there. I didn't do anything. Marcus's jaw tightened. You don't understand. You've never understood. Then explain it to me. Sophia's hands shook. Because I've spent 5 years trying to understand why my brother went to prison for manslaughter and told me to disappear. Why he made me promise never to contact him again. Why he let our mother die thinking he was a murderer. It's because I am a murderer. The words came out flat. Dead. I killed David Chen, my business partner. Your boyfriend. The coffee shop sounds faded. Everything faded except Marcus's face and the truth she'd tried so hard to forget. It wasn't an accident, Marcus continued. I went to confront him about the money he was stealing from our company. Found him in his office with another woman. We fought. I pushed him. Hit his head on the desk corner, his hands clenched. But here's what you don't know, little sister. The part I never told you, Marcus. He was conscious when I left. Bleeding, but alive. I panicked. Ran to you. And while I was confessing to you, while we were calling 911, he died. Alone on his office floor. His voice cracked. The medical examiner said if I'd stayed, if I'd called for help immediately, he might have survived. Sophia's breath caught. You never told me, because I needed you to believe it was an accident. Needed you to be innocent. He looked away. Then the police found evidence that I'd discovered David was embezzling. Suddenly it looked like premeditated murder, not manslaughter. My lawyer said they'd try to prove I killed him for the money. But you didn't I? His laugh was bitter. I wanted to kill him, Sophia. When I saw him with that woman, knowing he was cheating on you while stealing from me, I wanted him dead. Maybe not consciously. But some part of me was glad when he fell. Stop. You need to hear this. Marcus leaned forward. They offered me a plea deal. 7 years reduced to 2 with good behavior, if I pled guilty to involuntary manslaughter. My lawyer said, if we went to trial, I'd get 24 murder too. So you took it. I took it. And I made you promise to leave San Francisco. Change your name. Start over. Because if they'd dug deeper, they would have found out David wasn't just embezzling from the company. His eyes met hers. He was embezzling from the children's charity you'd started, using your credentials to steal from sick kids. The room spun. What? You really didn't know? Marcus looked almost sympathetic. David had access to your charity accounts? He'd been draining them for months. If that came out during the trial, you'd have been investigated too. Potentially charged as an accomplice. I would never... I know. But the evidence looked bad. Your signature on withdrawals. Your authorization on transfers. He shook his head. David set it up perfectly. If he got caught, you'd take the fall with him. Sophia's stomach churned. All these years, she'd thought Marcus was protecting his guilty conscience. Instead, he'd been protecting her from a trap she'd never known existed. Why didn't you tell me? Because you were 23 years old with your whole life ahead of you. Teaching job. Dreams. Hope. His voice softened. I couldn't let David destroy that too. So I took the plea. Told you to run. Let everyone think I was the villain. Our mother died, hating me. I know. Pain flickered across his face, but she loved you until the end. That mattered more. Sophia's tears fell freely now. I'm so sorry, Marcus. I should have fought harder. Should have believed in you. You did what I told you to do. He reached across the table, but didn't quite touch her. But now we have a problem. Because Gabriel Harrison isn't just some millionaire you're dating. He's my business partner. And he's in Beijing right now, meeting with David Chen's brother. Her blood turned to ice. What? David's brother, Wei Chen. He's the CEO we're partnering with in China. Marcus's expression was grim. He's never forgiven me for David's death. Spent 5 years trying to destroy my reputation, my business. The only reason he's at this meeting is because Gabriel doesn't know about my connection to his brother. Gabriel doesn't know about David. Why would he? I changed my last name after prison, built a new identity. Gabriel knows Marcus Yuan, tech genius and reliable partner. He has no idea Marcus Yuan used to be Marcus Chen, convicted killer. Sophia's hands covered her mouth. When he finds out, he'll realize his girlfriend's brother killed her ex-boyfriend. That she lied about everything. That both of us have been deceiving him. Marcus stood. Wei is going to tell him. Tonight, Beijing time. He's been waiting for this moment. The chance to destroy me completely. We have to tell Gabriel first. Explain everything. Explain what? That I killed a man and you helped cover it up? That's not what happened, isn't it? Marcus's smile was sad. You changed your name. Moved across the country. Told everyone I was dead. Those aren't the actions of an innocent person, Sophia. They're the actions of someone with something to hide. He was right. God help her. He was right. What do you want me to do? She asked. I want you to choose. Marcus pulled out his phone, showed her a text from Gabriel time-stamped 3 hours ago. He's asking about you. Wants to know if I've met his new girlfriend? If I think you're genuine? What did you say? Nothing yet. Because I'm giving you a choice. He pocketed the phone. Option 1. You end it with Gabriel. Ghost him. Disappear like you're so good at doing. He never learns the truth, and we both move on with our separate lives. And option 2? You fight for him. Tell him everything. Face the consequences together. Marcus's expression was unreadable. But understand what that means. Gabriel will know you lied. He'll question everything about you. And there's a very good chance he'll choose his business over both of us. Why are you giving me this choice? Because 5 years ago, I took your choice away. He headed for the door, then paused. For what it's worth, I don't hate you, Sophia. I'm angry. I'm bitter. But I don't hate you. You were a kid who got caught in an impossible situation. Marcus. Wait. He turned back. The 2 years in prison. Was it terrible? His laugh was hollow. Every single day. But I'd do it again. Because you're my sister, and protecting you was the only decent thing I've done in a long time. He opened the door, letting in cold air and harsh sunlight. You have until Gabriel's plane lands tomorrow night. After that, the choice is made for you. He left, and Sophia sat alone in the coffee shop where everything had started to unravel 5 years ago. Her phone buzzed. A text from Gabriel. Meeting went sideways. Wei Chen is being difficult. Starting to think there's more to this deal than Marcus told me. Coming home early. Landing at 8 p.m. your time instead of tomorrow. Can't wait to see you. 8 p.m. Tonight. She had 9 hours to decide. Run or fight. 9 hours to choose between safety and truth. Sophia looked at her reflection in the coffee shop window, at the woman she'd become, the careful teacher with the quiet life, the person who'd built everything on a foundation of lies. She thought about her students, about teaching them that honesty matters, that integrity isn't negotiable, that sometimes doing the right thing costs everything. And she thought about Gabriel, the way he looked at her like she was his salvation, the broken man who'd finally found someone real to hold on to, Except she wasn't real. She was a carefully constructed fiction. Her phone rang. Lily. Please tell me you're not falling for him, her best friend said without preamble. Why would you say that? Because I did some research. Gabriel's business partner is Marcus Yuan. And Sophia, Marcus Yuan, used to be Marcus Chen. Your brother Marcus. The one you told me died in a car accident 5 years ago. Sophia's throat closed. You knew? I just found out. I was looking up Gabriel's company for a marketing pitch and saw Marcus's photo on the partner page. Lily's voice was gentle. Sophia, what's going on? Why did you lie about your brother being dead? It's complicated. Then uncomplicated. Because if Gabriel finds out you've been lying about something this huge, it's going to destroy whatever you two have. I know. Sophia closed her eyes. Lily, I need to tell you something. Something I should have told you 5 years ago. She told her everything. David's death. Marcus's conviction. The embezzlement. The choice to disappear. By the end, she was crying so hard she could barely speak. Oh, honey, Lily whispered. Why didn't you tell me? Because I was ashamed. Because I thought if anyone knew the truth, they'd see me the way I saw myself. As someone who let her brother go to prison, as someone who ran instead of fighting. You were protecting yourself from a crime you didn't commit. Was I? Or was I protecting myself from having to face what David did? What I was too blind to see? Sophia wiped her eyes. Gabriel lands at 8 tonight. I have to decide whether to tell him or walk away. That's not a decision, Lily said firmly. You tell him. You fight for this. Because I've known you for 3 years, and I've never seen you as alive as you've been these past few days. What if he can't forgive me? Then he's not worth having. But Sophia, you have to give him the chance to choose. You can't make that decision for him. After they hung up, Sophia sat for a long time, watching people come and go from the coffee shop. Normal people with normal problems. People who didn't have to choose between love and survival. Finally, she pulled out her phone and typed a message to Gabriel. We need to talk. Tonight when you land? It's important. His response came immediately. Is everything okay? She stared at the question, at the concern in those 3 words. No, she typed. But it will be. I promise to tell you everything. You're scaring me. I'm scared too. But I'm done running. See you at 8. She spent the rest of the day preparing, writing down everything she needed to say. Every truth she'd hidden, every lie she'd told. By 7 p.m., she was standing outside the airport arrivals gate, her heart hammering against her ribs. Gabriel emerged at 8:15, looking exhausted and confused. When he saw her, his face lit up, and the guilt nearly crushed her. Sophia, he pulled her into his arms. God, I missed you. These 3 days felt like 3 years. Gabriel, we need to talk. Somewhere private. His smile faded. What's wrong? Everything? Nothing? I don't know anymore. See. She pulled back. Please, just come with me. They went to her apartment. Gabriel looked around with curiosity. Taking in her small space with its second-hand furniture and walls covered in children's artwork. This is you, he said softly. This is real, not all of it. Sophia sat on her worn couch, hands trembling. There are things I haven't told you. Things I should have said from the beginning. Gabriel sat beside her, and she could feel his body tense. Just tell me. So she did. Every word. Every painful truth. David and Marcus, and the blood and the prison and the lies. She told him about Wei Chen and the Beijing meeting and why Marcus had gone to prison. She told him about changing her name and pretending her brother was dead and building a life on a foundation of deception by the end. She was shaking so hard she could barely breathe. Gabriel sat in silence for a long moment. Then he stood, walked to the window, and looked out at the Brooklyn lights. Say something, Sophia whispered. Please. When he turned back, his face was unreadable. Marcus is your brother. The brother I've worked with for 3 years? Yes. And Wei Chen. The man I just spent 3 days negotiating with. Is the brother of your dead ex-boyfriend? Yes. Wei told me things in Beijing. About Marcus's past. About a murder conviction. And Gabriel's voice was hollow. I defended Marcus. Told Wei he was wrong. That Marcus Yuan couldn't possibly be a killer. Gabriel, you let me walk into that meeting blind? Both of you. While Wei was trying to destroy my business partner, my partner's sister was sleeping in my bed. His eyes were cold now. Was any of it real, Sophia? Or was this whole thing some kind of game? It was real. All of it. How am I supposed to believe that? He moved toward the door. How am I supposed to trust anything you say when you've been lying to me from the moment we met? I fell in love with you. The words tore out of her. That's the truth. The only truth that matters? Gabriel stopped, his hand on the doorknob. Love isn't built on lies, and let me earn it back. Let me prove I'm more than my worst mistakes. He looked at her one more time, and she saw the exact moment his heart closed. Saw the walls rebuild brick by brick. I need time, he said quietly. To think. To figure out if there's anything left to save. How much time? I don't know. He opened the door. I'm sorry, Sophia, but I can't do this right now. He left. And the door closing behind him sounded like the end of everything. Sophia sat in her empty apartment, surrounded by the ruins of her carefully constructed life, and finally let herself break. 3 weeks of silence. 21 days of teaching children about honesty while living with the weight of her own confessions. Sophia moved through her life like a ghost, present but not really there. Her students noticed. Little Emma asked why Miss Chen looked so sad. Marcus, the playground dandelion bringer, left flowers on her desk every morning. And Sophia smiled and lied and told them she was fine. But she wasn't fine. She was drowning. Gabriel hadn't called. Hadn't texted. The one time she tried to reach him, the message had gone unanswered. She'd driven by his building twice, standing on the sidewalk like a stalker, but never went inside. Marcus called once. He's pulling out of the Beijing deal, her brother said. Wei convinced him I'm too risky. The company's going to take a major hit. I'm sorry. Don't be. I deserve it. Pause. Have you heard from him? No, maybe that's for the best. But it didn't feel like the best. It felt like dying slowly. Then, on a Tuesday afternoon during parent-teacher conferences, Gabriel walked into her classroom. Sophia looked up from her desk, and her heart stopped. He looked thinner, exhausted, like he hadn't slept in weeks. Hi, he said quietly. Hi. She stood suddenly aware of the finger paintings on the walls and the tiny chairs scattered around. What are you doing here? I've been thinking. About what you told me? About everything. He moved closer, careful not to touch her. I've also been doing research. Research. I hired a private investigator to look into David Chen's death, into the embezzlement, into what really happened 5 years ago. Gabriel pulled out a folder. Turns out your brother was telling the truth. David wasn't just stealing from the company. He was running a sophisticated scheme using your charity as a front. If the investigation had continued, you would have been arrested. Sophia's legs weakened. Gabriel, Marcus saved you. Took a plea deal that made him look guilty to protect you from charges you didn't deserve. Set the folder down. The investigator also found the woman David was with that night. She confirmed Marcus's story. That it was an accident. That David was alive when Marcus left. Why are you telling me this? Because I needed to know if you were lying about everything, or if you were just a scared kid who got caught in an impossible situation. His eyes met hers. Turns out it was the latter. So you believe me now? I believe you were protecting yourself and your brother. I believe David manipulated you. I believe Marcus sacrificed 2 years of his life for you. Gabriel stepped closer. What I don't know is if you were protecting yourself from me too. Or if what we had was real, it was real. Sophia's voice broke. Every moment. Every word. I fell in love with you, Gabriel. That's the one thing I never lied about. She would have kept lying if Marcus hadn't forced your hand. Yes, the honesty hurt. Because I was terrified of losing you. Of watching you look at me the way you did that night. Like I was someone you didn't recognize. Gabriel was quiet for a long moment. I've spent 3 weeks being angry. Feeling betrayed. convincing myself I was better off alone. He looked around the classroom, at the evidence of her real life. But everywhere I went, I saw you. In coffee shops, on bridges, in my empty penthouse that felt even emptier without you. Gabriel, I'm so sorry. For everything. For lying. For dragging you into my mess. For not being brave enough to tell you the truth from the beginning. I know, and I want to forgive you, but I need to know something first. He took her hands, and the touch nearly undid her. Can you promise me no more secrets? No more lies? Even if the truth might hurt us? Yes, I promise. Complete honesty from now on. Right. Then I need you to be honest right now. His grip tightened. Wei Chen wants to destroy Marcus. He's threatening to leak information that could ruin your brother's reputation and my company's stock. He'll only back off if we give him what he wants. What does he want? A public confession. From Marcus. Admitting to killing David, detailing the embezzlement, exposing everything. Gabriel's expression was pained. It would clear your name, prove you had nothing to do with the charity fraud, but it would destroy Marcus. He'd lose his business. His reputation, probably face new charges. Sophia pulled away. No, absolutely not. Sophia, it's the only way to protect you. I don't care. Marcus already gave up 2 years for me. I won't let him sacrifice anything else. She paced the small classroom. There has to be another way. There isn't. Wei is relentless. He won't stop until someone pays. Then let me pay. The words came out before she fully thought them through. Let me make the confession. What? I'll tell the truth. That I knew about David's crimes. That I helped Marcus cover up the death. That I was complicit in everything. Sophia's heart raced. It's not entirely a lie. I did help Marcus that night. I did keep his secrets. If someone has to fall, let it be me. Sophia, you could go to prison. Maybe, but Marcus has already been. He's already paid. She turned to face Gabriel. He spent 2 years in a cell to save me. The least I can do is risk the same for him. Gabriel stared at her like she'd lost her mind. I can't let you do that. It's not your choice. She grabbed the folder. Give this to Wei. Tell him I'm willing to talk, to confess to whatever he needs. But Marcus stays out of it, and us. What happens to us if you go to prison? Sophia felt tears burn her eyes. I guess we'll find out if what we have is strong enough to survive. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. She touched his face, memorizing every line. I love you, Gabriel. But I can't build a future on my brother's destruction. If Wei needs someone to pay for David's death, let it be me. Gabriel caught her hand, held it against his cheek. There's a third option. What? I withdraw from the Beijing deal. Take the financial hit. Tell Wei to go to hell. His eyes burned into hers. Marcus and I can rebuild. The company will survive. But I won't watch you sacrifice yourself for a crime you didn't commit, Gabriel. That's millions of dollars. It's money I can make back. He pulled her close. You're irreplaceable. Sophia's resolve cracked. You'd do that? Lose everything you've built? I already lost everything that mattered when I walked out of your apartment 3 weeks ago. His forehead pressed against hers. I've spent 5 years building an empire, and it took me 3 days with you to realize how empty it all was. How meaningless success is when you have no one to share it with but your company. Your reputation will survive, or they won't. Either way, I'm done letting fear make my decisions. He kissed her softly. I love you, Sophia. And I'm choosing you. Over money? Over business? Over everything? You barely know me. I know enough. I know you teach children to be brave while being terrified yourself. I know you took a bullet for your brother and never asked for credit. I know you make terrible coffee, an excellent marinara sauce, and you see me as a person, not a bank account. His smile was tender. I know that 3 weeks without you felt like drowning, and I'm tired of drowning. Sophia kissed him, tasting salt and hope and second chances. I love you. So much. But I can't let you destroy everything for me. Too late. I already called Wei, told him the deal was off, that if he wanted to come after anyone, he could come after me. Gabriel's expression hardened. I also told him I'd release evidence of his own company's fraud if he tried to hurt you or Marcus. Mutually assured destruction? You didn't. I did. Spent the last 3 weeks digging into Wei's business practices. Turns out he's not as clean as he pretends. Gabriel shrugged. Sometimes you have to fight fire with fire. It's not who you are. No, but protecting the people I love is. He cupped her face. You and Marcus are family now, and I protect family. What steps sounded in the hallway, and Marcus appeared in the doorway. He looked between them, understanding dawning. You told him about Wei's ultimatum? Marcus said to Gabriel. I did. And she tried to take the fall for you. Marcus's expression cracked. He looked at Sophia with something like wonder. You were going to confess to crimes you didn't commit. You spent 2 years in prison for me. It seemed fair. It's not fair. Nothing about this is fair. Marcus stepped into the classroom, looking uncomfortable among the children's artwork. But for what it's worth, I'm sorry. For dragging you into my mess. For not protecting you better. For everything. We protected each other, Sophia said quietly. That's what family does. Marcus looked at Gabriel. She's right, you know? You'll lose millions if you walk away from this deal. I know. And you're okay with that? I'm okay with choosing people over profit for once in my life. Gabriel's hand found Sophia's. Besides, I have a feeling you and I can build something better together. Something that doesn't require dealing with men like Wei. You want to keep working with me? After everything? You're a brilliant businessman who made one tragic mistake and paid for it. You're also Sophia's brother, which makes you my family. Gabriel extended his hand. So yeah, I want to keep working with you. If you'll have me. Marcus shook his hand, and something passed between them. Understanding. Respect. The beginning of real trust. Thank you, Marcus said quietly. For protecting her, for choosing her, always. After Marcus left, Sophia and Gabriel stood alone in her classroom. Through the windows, the afternoon sun painted everything gold. Sophia asked, Now? Gabriel pulled her close. Now we figure out how to build something real. Together. No more secrets. No more running. Just us, facing whatever comes next. What about your penthouse? Your perfect life. Turns out, it wasn't so perfect. Maybe I need a teacher to show me how to actually live. His smile was soft. Think you have room in your tiny apartment for a reformed millionaire? It's going to be cramped. Good, I'm tired of space and emptiness. I want cramped and messy and real. Sophia laughed through her tears. You're insane. Probably. But I'm insane about you. He kissed her again. So what do you say? Want to take a chance on us? She thought about her mother, who'd taught her that some things mattered more than money. About Marcus, who'd sacrificed everything to protect her. About the children she taught every day, who believed in second chances and happy endings, and she thought about Gabriel, the broken man who'd found her in a moment of chance and chosen to stay even when staying was hard. I want to take that chance. 6 months later, Sophia stood in front of her classroom, watching her students work on an art project. Through the window, she could see Gabriel waiting outside, Marcus beside him. The two men were laughing about something, their partnership stronger than ever. The company had taken a hit from walking away from the Beijing deal. But they'd rebuilt, creating something smaller but more ethical. Something they could be proud of. Sophia's phone buzzed. A text from Gabriel. Dinner at our place tonight? I'm attempting to cook again. Send help. She smiled. Their place. The small Brooklyn apartment they now shared. Cramped and messy and perfect. Marcus had sent another message in their family group chat. I'm bringing dessert. And by dessert, I mean takeout, because we all know Gabriel's cooking is dangerous. Sophia typed back, You're both impossible. See you at 7? Emma tugged on her sleeve. Miss Chen, why are you smiling? Because I'm happy, Sophia said honestly. Why? Because I learned something important. That the people who love you will fight for you. That second chances are real. That sometimes the scariest thing you can do is also the right thing. Gosh. Emma nodded sagely. As if she understood, then went back to her painting. As the school day ended and her students filed out, Sophia gathered her things. Gabriel was waiting, just like he promised. Marcus was texting something that made him laugh, and Sophia realized that after 5 years of running, she'd finally found home. Not in a place, but in the people who'd chosen to stay. She walked outside into the autumn sunshine, toward the 2 men who'd become her family, and for the first time in a long time, she wasn't afraid of what came next, because whatever it was, they'd face it together. The end.